Hey. Hello, guys. Welcome again to another session of Conversations with a Therapist. And I'm your host, Lawi, and with me in the studio is
Jennifer Kyalo, counseling psychologist, registered with KCPA.
soon to be doctor. Yeah?
Amen.
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 So, last week we had a conversation just talking about some of the notable names who have been going through mental health issues and how they've been dealing with them, and just bringing to light that there are cases that are out there in the world and it's not just isolated incidents. So today I thought maybe we can break down further into that and talk about mental health coping mechanisms as well as addiction or substance abuse. Because as we all know, in the music industry, the path taken for drugs is easily available than other kind of like personas that people would like to take. So maybe Jennifer, you can just break down to us to understand what substance abuse is, and maybe we can get a clearer picture, because for some people they use the drugs, they say they don't abuse them. So maybe you can help us break down the demystification of it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, awesome. So, drug abuse and drug addiction, these is something that has become very common in modern day, because people are taking drugs for the wrong purposes, and that's what drug abuse becomes. It's when people start using drugs for the wrong purposes at the wrong time, in the wrong doses. So, like for example, if you are using a painkiller, you're being given a painkiller in hospital, and you're using it now you're continuously using it as a thing that sustains you. It's no longer serving the purpose it was intended for. Then you're basically abusing the drug. And like you've said, in this industry, the artists, the artistic industry, creativity industry, there's a lot of substance abuse, because one, it's very easy to access the drugs, and two, they serve a purpose that seems, I think it's a purpose that is exaggerated, if I may say.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a time we spoke about how most creative people will tell you that they are introverts.
Yeah.
So if you're introverted and you have to go to a meet and greet with a bazillion people, and you're feeling out of your element, this is not your thing, but you have to go because it's showbiz. It's showbiz. So you have to go. So you'll find yourself self-medicating. So in the beginning,
It's called a pick me up.
Okay, you'll find yourself picking yourself up.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, you'll pick yourself up and you'll be fine, and you'll be like, hey, I'm doing this for the first time, or maybe this is the only time I'm going to do this, because this meet and greet is really important. Actually, so and so is going to be there. This is a big thing. I can't afford.
Confidence up.
Exactly.
I need to be on the right talkative mood.
And then the people around you are like, just take a shot. Just take a shot of tequila, I guess, or something. You're going to feel good. And when you take it, you actually feel kind of I feel kind of confident. I feel like I can face the world right now, because first of all, you can if anything happens, you can escape. You have an escape route, which is blame it on the alcohol or something.
Blame it on the alcohol.
I'm impressed. Singing is your career, obviously. So you're gonna escape out of any kind of responsibility, because you have an excuse. I was not myself. I was high. I was on this or the other. And other than that, it gives you some false confidence, and you're able to do things that ordinarily you don't do. So if it's talking to people, meet and greeting and talking to them, having fun, dancing with people, you're going to do all these things. And then you'll be like, hey, by the way, this thing helped me. So next time there's a meet and greet, you might give the same excuse and be like, this is important. There's people there who might make my career. I need to go. What do? I need to build my confidence. How do I build my confidence? I need to pick myself up again with something. And that becomes a trend.
In this world where most and everything that we indulge in can be considered as an addiction. By the time some people overly drink sodas, that's a sugar addiction. By the time there are people who constantly drink water and preach hydration as much as they make too many toilet visits. But that's not to say that addiction is specific. So maybe you can help us break down, like, what are the symptoms that can be attributed to addiction. Because for me, I might be addicted to sugar, but to me, I'm not saying it's not as dangerous as cocaine.
I see what you mean. Interesting that you made that relation between sugar and cocaine. there have been studies that show sugar is highly one of the most highly addictive substances in the world right now.
Trust
Sugar
me.
is really, really addictive.
I can't go a day without soda.
Okay, I trust you.
But it's not an addiction, okay?
Okay, if you insist. So, drugs, all drugs are not built equal. Different drugs will have different symptoms, like presenting symptoms, the moment you take them.
Okay.
So most of these symptoms of having the drug addiction will come in after you've used the drug. Like after the high comes the low, and some different drugs have different levels of highs and different levels of lows.
Yeah.
So like something like heroin gives you a very high very fast, but then it also gives you a very low very fast.
Yeah.
So you're likely to get addicted to heroin because the high was so good and the crash was so bad that you want to go back.
Yeah.
You cannot imagine going through that low again. So this actually it's something I've seen in studies where they say it's an ongoing argument that people get addicted because the highs are so high, you want to do it again, or because the lows are so low that you don't want to feel that again.
In the streets, we call it chasing the dragon.
There you go. So that's basically how addiction initially starts. So you'll find that when you take one different drug, it feels very different because of how it's synthesized in the body, the way it behaves when it gets inside your body.
Yeah.
Because most drugs are metabolized in the brain. That's why you feel what you feel. So that's drugs for you. It's different for different drugs, but there are common symptoms among different drugs that you will see when you have an addiction. So some of drug addiction and symptoms of drug addiction include the need to use the drug constantly. Like you'll just feel, I need to use it.
I'm not 100% without it.
Yeah. Kuna kakitu. So people will say, like, I don't know if you've seen alcoholics who will say that they shake and they cannot walk. They feel even dizzy if they've not taken a shot. They have not taken a shot of something in the morning when they wake up because it has become now the thing. It's the thing that gets you out of bed. Yeah. Because without it you cannot operate, and you seriously, you see them and you'll see them and they're like shaking for real. They are shaking. Give
them a drop.
That's it.
They're sorted. Is back in drive.
Yeah. So you will want to have the drug daily or several times a day, depending on what tolerance you've built up over the time. Years over time that you've been consuming the drug. So the tolerance will determine how much you are craving the drug. Yeah. So because tolerance it doesn't if you drink alcohol today and you feel whatever you feel, and then tomorrow you drink again, in a month, if you had started out with maybe 2 shots of tequila, in a month you won't be drinking 2 shots of tequila and feeling the same way.
Getting the whole bottle.
Yeah. or 2. So, and after a year, you won't be drinking just that one bottle because now you've built tolerance. One bottle does nothing.
And now a liquor connoisseur, as they like to title themselves.
There you go.
No offense to any liquor connoisseurs out there.
Yeah. I hear you. So basically, that's like one of the main symptoms. You're going to have the urge, like you just have that urge. I need to have it. Like it's constant. It's in your head. You're thinking, I need.
Especially
you can't,
when you're working in like stressful scenarios, and this drug has been known to calm you and let you know, just flow through the day. Yeah,
and then you'll go out of your way to make sure that you have it. Like you'll stock your kabati with lots of. If it's alcohol, you'll have lots of it in your house. You'll find a way. Your supplier will know you
to make sure you don't run out.
Yeah, like you will go out of your way to ensure that you have it whenever you need it.
We don't call them suppliers; we call them plugs.
Plugs in the streets. I'm sorry, plugs. No offense. I've not been on the streets.
Yeah, I've seen some certain scenarios where people will definitely hound you down. Do you know anyone else where I can get it from?
Yeah. It's really bad.
So
they will you also find yourself now spending like money you don't have, you will spend it on this particular substance.
Taking debts.
Yeah. You'll find yourself like you will go and just beg the plug.
Yeah, just put it on my tab.
Yeah. Nitakujia. Yeah, you'll always find a way to make sure that you have it, and you'll spend money you don't have. Actually, you'll even do things that are really dangerous. Like I've seen somebody who was very addicted to alcohol, and there's a day he didn't have any money at all. Nobody to give him, nothing, no money. He cannot afford it. He went and broke his own door from his house, and he went and sold it to a carpenter. I'm not even joking. It was horrible. Yeah.
The laws
It's
are
really, really bad.
low.
And you will also find yourself what do you call it? Like you're not meeting you're not doing the things you're supposed to be doing. Like if you're supposed to go to work, you don't go to work. And if you do, you don't do your job.
But
You'll
now,
just-
you see something like that. There's these people who have coined the term functional alcoholics. Is that like a true thing where, I mean, I'm drunk, but I'm still going to handle my duties? It might not be A, but it will be at least B, C.
Imagine.
But I'm still doing the work.
That's a problem.
That's a
The
problem.
fact that you've lowered your benchmark that low, that you're now operating on at least I'm doing the thing, part of the thing at level B.
Had that, guys, functional alcoholism might be a
that's
symptom.
not so they also you'll find yourself doing risky things when you're under the influence, or even doing risky things to get whatever the drug that you need. Basically it's always constant about the drug. And then you also find yourself you've tried so many times but you can't stop. So even when you've realized, hey, by the way, I might have a problem, then you're going to start, let me see if I can stop this
I'm
thing.
already on this boat. I can afford it. Let me just keep the boat going.
Yeah. Or you might even realize, oh, by the way, honestly, this is becoming a problem, because maybe you have close friends and relatives who are seeing the distraction, and somehow you've gotten to a level where you can listen to counsel. So when you realize I actually have a problem, you're going to try to stop it. And when you've tried like 10 times and you still can't stop it. So now sometimes you'll tell yourself, I've tried 10 times, I can't stop. Me, by the way, alcohol is my thing now.
Yeah, because I've known homies who their parents insisted and pushed them to go to rehab.
Yeah.
But they came out of rehab with new class drugs.
Exactly.
They come out with awareness of there's certainly new drugs out there that I haven't tried yet. So it's basically, that's still the addiction still running through.
Yeah.
That you've tried and you failed, so just
keep doing it.
Keep
it's like when you cheat on your diet and you just go all out. So you'll find yourself trying so many times, so often to stop, but you don't, and you really don't know how to go about it. And also I think there's the issue of if you don't really want to change, then it becomes a problem to even change, because change starts from within. So those are some of the
so we've talked about some of the symptoms. How do I recognize my friend is going through substance abuse or addiction? Is it something notable? Like, by the time guys smoke weed, there's always jichonyanya. By the time they do cocaine, their eyes get dilated. Are these some of the symptoms we can use, or like in different environments it also changes?
I don't think I can say that it changes, but different. If you know your friends well enough, the fact that you even care to know if your friend is abusing a drug or not, that is really a big thing. Most people don't have people in their lives who care enough to know how they are doing. So if you have a friend who you think is abusing drugs, first of all, you will see a change in them. There will be many things that are going to be very visible. So if it's somebody you work with, you'll notice, hey, this guy has changed. He doesn't come to work at
as early as before.
Yeah, Kitambo used to be here at like 8:30. These days he's coming in at 9 and or 10, and he has an excuse somehow. He's sluggish. He's very strange. What is going on? Oh, then you get closer to me. Oh, like, oh, wait. You smell of alcohol right now. Or you smell of this or the other thing. And you can see,
His coffee mug has a shot of whiskey.
Yeah. Work documents. Have you seen that meme? Work documents and it's a bottle of wine. So you will see those changes. If you're keen enough, you will see. The problem is that sometimes we don't want to see the things we don't want to see.
Because I also think the stigma is that drug abuse and the actual abuse is normally for the poor. For people who, you try and set them in such a way that just because they're poor, they're supposed to be doing this. But somebody who's affluent, it's the last thought on your mind because they seem like they have it together.
Exactly. So that's basically it's the same thing. So if it's like if you are Ramsani and I am in your team and I am noticing that you're no longer showing up for gigs like you were supposed to show up, or you did show up but then you could not perform, you were super high, and then this has become a trend. Like suddenly you remember when you were starting out, you were so keen, you work ethic ulikuwa nayo, you were doing things by the book vizuri, you would show, they call you for a gig, you're there before time set up kila kitu, you're there, but then suddenly you've stopped and you're coming in and you're wasted.
Yeah.
There's just something, and
Even sometimes performances, you don't do them well, so
Yeah.
people have to do lip sync.
exactly. So steam ikipotea, there's a problem. You'll be left there just staring at the crowd. Yeah.
Mumbling and
Bana. So it becomes a thing. You will notice as a friend, as somebody in the team, you will notice because it's very obvious when somebody is off. You'll always know when somebody is off. So you also see like sudden sicknesses that don't make sense. So suddenly you have this splitting headache that you've had, but when you take a shot of something, it goes away. Then there's a problem because how come that's the only thing that is healing you?
Your body has now developed a mechanism
Yeah.
trigger.
It just knows the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just knows the thing. So you there's sudden weight loss or sudden weight gain and insomnia or not sleeping enough, and or sleeping too much. They are absconding their duties, It's going to be very clear. There's something.
Money issues.
Yeah, money issues.
By the time you've gotten your royalties, half of it is going to drugs and entertainment.
Yes.
Not even going back to reinvestment or paying out staff members.
Exactly.
Especially in the industry, it can be cutthroat.
There's always going to be something. Neglecting your own appearance, you're going to be looking shabby. And you will see these people. By the way, when you will know. There's always something. And I'm not saying that drug abuse is obvious like in everyone.
Yeah.
There's some people who will abuse some drugs that are not so obvious. Because right now I think we're talking a lot about alcohol because it's common.
Prevalent,
Yeah. But that's not the only drug that people are abusing. Yeah. And there are people who are abusing things that you don't even know they're abusing. Yeah.
There was this trend back in the day for guys, were they putting lip gloss under their eyelids? Kids, man. Kids were trying to be adventurous in terms of exploration.
What's the purpose?
I guess it numbs your eye and you get to feel. But either way, I'm just talking about like when it comes to drugs.
Yeah.
The sky is the limit with regards to exploration and adventures in terms of how people take it and how they use it in quotes.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, there used to be weed, which was smoked. Nowadays, it's in vape.
Yeah.
There used to be cocaine, which was snorted. Nowadays, it's been turned to crack, and you can smoke
the
it
innovation.
out of a pipe. The one thing you can't doubt people with is the innovation.
Yeah, this industry is very, innovation is top notch. Like people and abusing substances, there's a lot of creativity around it. A lot of creativity.
So maybe we can start now that we mentioned at least some of them. I know everyone knows the typical symptoms of how to notice somebody has abused a certain drug.
Yeah.
But maybe you can just take it once more so that we know, as some of us are still struggling with the concept of accepting that some of our behaviors might be detrimental or just we're living the YOLO lifestyle and we don't care and we ignore the little things. Like with marijuana, aka bangi, hashish, aka also cannabis, some of the signs and symptoms is usually a sense of euphoria, feeling high.
Yeah, feeling high.
Mellow.
Oh gosh, yeah.
A heightened sense of visual, auditory and taste perception. That's when people say, I take it so that it can give me appetite.
And make me creative.
When
I'm high, by then nakuanga na lines kali.
Of course, kuna the obvious one, jicho nyanya, cotton mouth, aka red eyes and dry mouth.
Yeah.
There's also decreased coordination because you're in that slow motion kind of feel.
Yeah. I had someone who was super high and they were driving and they would stop every like they drive like once and then they stop kidogo on the side of the road because they think there's a ditch ahead of them and they're gonna fall in it and it was a straight road.
So that brings in the added effect of paranoia.
And
anxiety. I know people take it to counter that, but sometimes it also acts as increasing it slightly because you know what you're doing is illegal, so everything, by the time you're talking to somebody, you're like, this person knows.
I have a question though. When people abuse marijuana, do they feel the effects because they have this idea in their head that this is what it's supposed to do, or do people actually feel the effect?
So it again,
is it both?
With the industry, it's grown diverse. There's sativa, there's indica, there's a body high and there's a head high. So by the time usually people partake, it's usually dependent on you and the environment you're in. So just like a cigarette gives you a head rush is the same way. They go.
How would it know? Sorry.
Bless your soul. So they would go. They inhibit some receptors. So you feel yourself slightly sluggish. First timers they see euphoria and sometimes to an extent some lucid.
And is it
visions.
something that's really like that's actually what is going to happen, or is it because most of the time, because I've noticed that marijuana is not smoked in isolation or used in isolation most of the time. Even first timers don't use marijuana in isolation. So is it because the people around you have told you, hey, by the way, when people smoke marijuana, this is how they feel, and then so you exaggerate that in your
there's some leeway with regard to expectations.
I think there's a lot of placebo-ness.
Plays. But then when we go to the other drugs, we'll define them, because this one is usually dependent with the environment you're in, with the people, what is the mood like, and then what is your own self like, how are you processing your own emotions, and how you are. So again, it varies with different people. Some people will tell you they forgot what they were cooking and went ahead to watch a movie.
They
Some
burn down
people
the house.
just end up staring at the wall for hours.
So
it's just dependent with you. But there are some effects that do work on you.
The cravings.
The cravings.
Munchies.
Munchies. Your appetite goes through the roof. I'm just talking of this as a third party.
Oh, not something this is not first-hand experience. Oh, sorry.
I cannot answer, but so it does spike your appetite with regard to and your taste perceptions. So even the food you're tasting, it's like you've never tasted it before. So that's just your brain again working
exaggerating things.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is interesting, because I only know about the chronic problems that emerge out of it long term, like you become this reduced number of friends and interests. Like you will only have this one thing that is the marijuana community, and it's the only thing that I have now. I don't want friends outside there.
That's why people talk about vibes.
Oh, those are the vibes.
Those are the vibes. By the time you go to people who are just, by the time you've done it,
Yeah.
you've used the drug, you're mellow, you're chill, you're calm at your point. But then
Yeah.
you go into a workspace where everyone is busy shuffling around. It doesn't feel like
You're like,
positive,
kwa nini mko na
positive
haraka?
vibes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why are you so in a rush? I see you calm down.
So the rest of the world is going in fast
Too
forward,
fast.
you're going in slow-mo. So that's how eventually even interest to have with people. Because by the time you've done it, the ideas that are going through your head, as we talked about creativity, you feel like the others are not relating to them unless they have done it. That's why they do it in socials.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised at the fact that there's a huge number of people who believe that marijuana will spike your creativity, because in my opinion, guys, this is my opinion. In my opinion, your creativity is there.
Is there? True.
So it's not really about marijuana, because before you started using marijuana, you were creative. So you were introduced, let's say, to marijuana once you were already in the industry. You have made friends, so you already had the creativity. So marijuana has nothing to do with it.
What they say is it supplements the creativity, in that before the mind will be racing across different various ideas, but after you've done the drug and mellowed out, you now focus.
I actually disagree with that, but okay.
Yeah. I'm saying it's different experiences.
I understand.
So maybe by the next podcast you would have sampled some.
No, thank you, but thank you for the offer, but no thanks.
So I think more research needs to be done, especially with it, so that people, in as much as it's already being used medicinally, I'm sure there is some avenues to explain some of the effects it does have. But again, it's subjective.
Yeah, of course.
Somebody else will say this was the worst experience.
Because marijuana is also one of the drugs that, there's this thing called substance-induced psychosis. It's an actual mental illness. So you will, let me use the layman's term of going mad. You'll go mad after using a bunch of drugs. So substance-induced psychosis can be because of one particular drug or a combination of drugs. Depends on how you take them. And I've seen people with it, because it will just trigger. It will just trigger something in your brain. Something is gonna
already pre-existing
exactly.
It's just heightened.
And you don't know that until it happens. Then
now people are blaming the drug, apart from just diagnosing you that you had this previous condition, and this just exasperated it.
It's very important to realize that as much as these drugs are common and available, imagine it's not everything that exists in the world is for you to try. Imagine there are some things you can just live without trying.
Now you've mentioned something, Apple. We can go to the next class of drugs.
Uh-huh.
The barbiturates, the benzodiazepines, and
Benzodiazepines.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're often used in search of a sense of relaxation or a desire to switch off or forget stress-related thoughts or feelings. So this is like the usual one, which is the next thing we should tackle. Why are these drugs so cheap? Like, for example, I'm sure like in Valium, in some of the chemist shops, it's like 5 bob a pop. So by the time somebody is constantly feeling stressed, all they just need to do is pop a pill.
Yeah.
And Valium is extremely addictive because your mind is calm. So any single time you face a little stress, your mind resorts to that. I need to calm down. I need to feel like the sun is constantly in the sky.
Yeah.
So, like, some of these are to help out with they're called depressants, antidepressants. They're supposed to help with your mood. So, for some, like the Valium, I know it's been given to, like, alcoholics, especially because they need to withdraw from the alcoholism. So, the Valium is like a substitute, which, again, is you're taking away my poison to give me another poison.
Funny enough, there's something that I heard about cocaine. Like there's some drugs you can't just quit cold turkey. It's gonna become a problem. You'll go back. The withdrawals will be brutal, and it's not just cocaine. I think meth as well. There's this treatment that's called the methadone treatment, where you're given a substitute of the drug you're using, so that because the substitute is easier to wean out of your body. Let me call it wean out. Like you know how it's hard to get you off this particular drug you're abusing. So if you use
controlled one,
we'll give you a controlled one for a period of time in different doses.
So like with cocaine, they give you, I think it's Vicodin, which is also given to like ADHD kids.
Yeah. So slowly by slowly, we are going to start weaning you off the initial drug that you are using, and we'll wean you off slowly, because if we don't, you're gonna if we just take away the drug, you could even kill yourself.
But now, by the time now you've taken my cocaine and now you're giving me Vicodin, now you've shown me there's actually like a legal way of me securing these drugs. So now all I have to do is go to the pharmacy, be like, yo, I am stressed and I am thinking of snorting some lines, so give me Vicodin.
Interestingly enough, I see what you mean, and I think that's where everybody needs to understand that substance abuse treatment is not something that can be done with just one path. You don't approach it in one path. That's why most substance abuse treatments usually include medication and therapy and lifestyle changes. You can just pick one path and go with that, because it won't work. So if you've been taken off the main thing and been given a substitute, you'll have to go to therapy. So like in Mathare, there's something called the clinical it's called the Clinic for Substance Abuse Treatment, CSAT. So like when you go to that clinic, you will get the psychotherapy that you need. So it's where you're given coping you're given skills on how to, first of all, your psychoeducation. You're taught what are the drugs you're taking, because some of us abuse drugs that we don't even know.
Yeah, because it's cool on TV.
So we are abusing things we don't know. So sometimes we're just being, I think, adventurers or something, curious. So in psychoeducation, you're gonna get psychoeducated. It's in the name. You're gonna get psychoeducated. You will be taught what is the drug you're using, what is it doing to your body, what is it doing to your mind, what is it doing to your family, what is it doing to your what is it doing to your future. Like there's this whole, because when you're abusing drugs, it doesn't just affect one part of your life. One aspect. It affects, like, you're a whole human being. So there's many aspects that are affected when you abuse a substance. So during psychoeducation, you're going to be taught some of those aspects, or if possible, all of those aspects, so that as you understand, oh, by the way, this is the reason why I need to quit this drug, because it's doing this to me financially, it's doing this to me emotionally, it's doing this to me psychologically, it's destroying my brain, because it goes to the brain, right? The brain, it's pulling away, it's destroying my family, it's robbing my future, it's my friendships, my future career prospects, it's destroying this whole ecosystem, right? And so when you're on that psychoeducation, so that's the psychotherapy. You're going to do psychotherapy, you're on your medication, you need to adhere to that medication, and then you're going to do lifestyle changes, changing environment, changing the food that you eat, dealing with stress. You're going to be taught now skills: assertiveness, stress management, anger management, conflict management, confidence, self-awareness, self-concept, acceptance, those things. Many of them.
So now we've talked about the drugs that are bad. Can we talk about the drugs that are considered good?
By who?
So by some of our users. So like, for example, by the time we're talking about meth, cocaine, and drugs that are mostly stimulants, you know, the ones that
get you high,
make you feel excess confidence, you're alert, you feel energy.
You're a ball of energy.
But also, sadly, they increase your aggression.
Yes.
Your speech is just rapid or rambling. Pupils are dilated. You feel confused. You're having delusions, sometimes hallucinations. You can even feel your heart skipping way too fast. These are considered club drugs, you know, to keep the party going.
Yeah,
you know,
this party don't stop.
There's some of us who can't, let me not use the word can't, who don't want to experience just a vanilla type of club experience.
What's a vanilla type
you
club
know,
experience?
You go to the club sober. There's some people who prefer the escapism. By the time you are in the club, the lights are there. By the time you've done club drugs like Molly, MDMA, LSD, they make lights appear amazing.
Like you are out of this world.
You're feeling the music down to your very bones. And this person will tell you, I don't abuse them regularly. I only take it when I'm going to the club or a festival.
Yes.
I have to.
And then you find yourself going to the club every 2 days, and then every 1 day, and then every evening you have to be at the club.
Okay, fair enough. So like, for those ones, I know the problem with them is, one, they're expensive.
Very.
Two, they're the most addictive.
Wait, expensive to some people.
Again, that's where I wanted to come back. They're expensive and they're addictive.
Yeah.
But then there's some people who will come with testimonials where they tell you they can afford it, they can space it out, and for them, they can even go weeks and days without going to the next one.
Yeah.
So what's with the disparity, or like, is that just them excusing themselves?
I believe so, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there's something like good drug abuse.
Jennifer, until I come and tell you I saw stars by the time I took Molly.
No, I'm really happy for you that you did see stars. Thanks, I don't want to see stars. But I will not lie to you that there's something like good drug abuse, or I don't even believe in the term recreational drug abuse, or drug abuse. It's in the word. There's this thing from occasional drinker or occasional smoker. You do things occasionally. I don't believe in that.
I'm a social drinker.
What? But you're always socializing. You're a social being. When is this social? Because you see, here's the thing. It's gonna lead somewhere. Eventually, you're gonna stop being a social drinker of the weekends. You're gonna do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then after some time, you'll be like, yeah, why not? Let's do Thursday. And then on a random Wednesday, your friend from abroad, some bunnies, they will come to Nairobi and they're like, see, we go.
And you're like,
me I don't drink on
Sunday.
Hey, but Sunday, yeah. But the vacation is Thursday, and I drink only from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. See, I just go. And then you'll find a reason, and you'll find another one and another one, and you will not know when it starts going downhill. So I don't like it's you're playing with fire. I think you're playing with fire every time you tell yourself that you're a social drinker or social drug abuser. You're playing with fire. And I wish you would not. I wish you would not. Because here's the thing. You're not trying something that has never been tried. You're not chartering new waters. You are... Is it chartering or chatting? You're not charting new waters. You are doing something that has been done in the past. And we have seen the consequences. So you're not... this movie does not end any other way.
Okay.
This movie does not end any other way.
Miskia.
So whatever it is you're saying, you're doing once in a while, good for you. But until it becomes a problem. It's going to become a problem.
So when it becomes a problem, when do I figure out when to see a doctor?
Like we had mentioned in the beginning about noticing the things that are changing. You're losing interest in things. Yeah, you're losing interest in things that Kitambo used to make you so happy. You used to like spending time with your family. Like Saturdays going to Uru Park in the afternoon and riding those boats, and
you just want to sit back,
smoke
a doobie
and just chill,
watch Netflix.
Yeah. and you can't stop taking the drug. First of all, when you find that by the way, I can't function without this drug. that is already a problem.
Okay.
That is a huge problem. That's why I keep saying people need to be very aware of themselves. Like, question yourself. Be so accountable that you can call yourself out on your own
On your own mistakes, on your own excuses.
Be very accountable. And you will also find yourself using the drug even when you know it is hurting you. Like, you know very well, when I drink, the next day I will die. That's how I feel.
Cigarettes kill, but not now. That's how some people say it. Like, it's literally on the pack. It's literally on the pack.
But you know. That's the thing. Like, that's why I keep saying, imagine, just acknowledge that you have a problem and deal with it. It is okay. And there's no weakness in acknowledging you have a problem. It's actually a sign of strength. And also know that you have people that care for you and love you very much, despite the abuse or the drug abuse.
Or despite what the drug is telling you. That these guys won't accept you.
No, you will be accepted. I think there are people who have shown you already in your life that they actually love you despite of the drug. So you're loved. Don't think that you're alone. And then you find yourself engaging in very risky behavior when you're using the drug. That's a problem. Like, for the people, you will find yourself,
especially like cocaine increases your aggression.
You will find yourself fighting people in the bar, and you know people die. Like, you can just see somebody anguke kwa agongwe na kona ya meza akufe.
No, you get murder charges.
And then you're going to prison just because of, think about it. And then you'll find having unprotected sex, you suddenly out of the blue.
That one is everyone's responsibility. By the time you're having sex, don't blame it on the drugs, unless somebody takes advantage of you while you're on the drugs.
Exactly. So let's say it's somebody who has been taken advantage of when they were using a drug. They were high, and they don't know what happened because some of the drug, maybe they blacked out or whatever, and they got taken advantage of. That's a problem. Now that's time to remember, hey, this drug is making me black out completely, that I cannot remember when I'm being taken advantage of. That's a problem. It's something to look out for. But even unprotected sex, you know when you're using a drug, it
live for now.
Leave me alone. So when you're using a drug, it's there's this thing where it the judgment centers of your brain, it's like they're blocked. You make rash decisions. You are not, most of the time you will do things you don't do. That's why people keep saying, I did something when I was high that I could not have done when I was sober. That's because judgment is limited. And your intuition, you don't listen to intuition. Impulses are on high, So that is the time when you realize that every time you've taken the drug, this has happened. It's time to tell yourself, hey bana, I think this is becoming a problem. And definitely when you feel that every time you've not used the drug, you get withdrawal symptoms. You feel something, you'll either feel really sick, you get really irritated, or you cannot function. There's just a key thing. There's a problem, Manzi.
And also with nowadays, if you don't want to see a doctor, I'm sure there's like hotlines.
Listen, we have said this before in this podcast. Help is available. These are not the days when we used to say, okay, I don't know what to do. I know sometimes the information is lacking, like you don't have the information, but that is not a reason for you not to seek it. Because trust me, if you walk to any hospital in Nairobi with whatever drug abuse problem you're having, question, whatever, you will find an answer. Any hospital, okay, apart from like hospitals in some machinary places where they don't have the facilities. But like, even walk into Kenyatta, walk into Mathare Hospital, walk to Nairobi Hospital, just go to the reception area. You don't even need to see a doctor. Just tell them, by the way, I was wondering, do you guys have services for drug abuse and detox and things like that? You are going to get an answer. This is not the time for I didn't know. So, this is not the time.
There are certain cases. So there's that where you're still researching the problem. What situations should you request for emergency help? Like, I know the most obvious one is overdose, because sometimes this is non-prescribed medication, so dosages go out the window. Sometimes your friend has done 3-4 pills by the time his effect starts, but you're still on your half and you're still tripping balls, as they say.
What does that mean, Lavi? Please educate me.
Tripping balls is a sort of statement to describe the hallucinations, the lucid visions that you're seeing, the auditory perceptions that you can hear. Your mind is just, you're not your same sober self.
Yeah.
By the time you're looking at light, you're like, that light is blue, but then again, it's like glowing blue.
Yeah.
But then, there's just something off about it. So I feel like, for me, the first emergency situation is when you're noticing symptoms of OD. That's like heavy breathing, lack of breathing, just reach out.
Wait, lack of breathing is death.
Lack of breathing, hard, tough. How can we call it? Exasperated breathing.
Yeah, like you're struggling to breathe. When you're struggling to breathe.
Yeah.
Okay, because lack of breath. Lack of breath is death.
But still, it's a call for emergency.
Of course. But I really don't know what you do when one has passed on. But
CPR, at least try CPR.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out when I'm with my friend and we are super high, they will probably not be able to do CPR. But here's the thing. On a very serious note, first of all, be very careful when you're abusing drugs.
Yeah.
Because,
I say, and for me, from my layman perspective, do your due diligence. At the very least, by the time, yes, there's drugs, everyone has done them, but at least you for yourself, what do you know about this drug?
Yeah, usifanye vitu tu watu wanafanya vitu.
Just go see dosages, how many people usually averagely take, what are the side effects, what are some of the harmful stuff that...
This is so that you don't take them, by the way, just in case you're wondering. This is for you to do due diligence, so that you're like, no, I'm not going to take them because there's a chance of death. Here's the thing. When you notice an emergency is when somebody is having, let's say, for example, let's put this very realistically, you're chilling with your... You go out and chill with your friends, you do some drugs, then you go back home, and let's say at home you live with your parents or a sibling or a roommate. You live with someone. So roommate, sibling, friend, sober person who has noticed that this person of mine might be having a problem. I think there's something going on. You will notice maybe there's this too much sweating. Suddenly they are dripping of sweat, and it's unexplained, and they can't breathe. Venyelawea said they can't breathe. They're having problems breathing. The heart is beating so fast, or they are foaming in the mouth, or they're convulsing. Those are things to look out for. Because anyway, if you see anyone with those things, even if they have not abused drugs, it's something to call an emergency for. Yeah, you will not just find somebody convulsing and sit there and then you're like, "Wah, so to do." That is not something you're going to do.
I saw this thing that people abroad usually do called the intervention.
Oh, yeah, the intervention. Yeah, the intervention.
I feel like intervention should be last case scenario, because I'm thinking this person, as they're doing drugs, they have their own belief systems. They've done it before, they know they're handling. By the time you want to intervene and call through 6 other people, 7 other people to sit me down, then it feels a bit like they're ganging up on you.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
I know it's usually like in term for endearment, but usually it comes off like, yo, we're ganging up on you, which is good though, because you need to know what your addiction is influencing, how it is influencing other people.
Here's the thing, Lawi. Let me give you a promise for the next podcast. Let's talk about intervention in something called the wheel of change. So when somebody is abusing drugs, they don't just wake up one morning and they're like, "Wow, I'm abusing drugs, let me go to rehab." That is not, I wish that's how it happened, but it's not. That is not how it happens. There's something called the wheel of change, and it has 5 stages. 5, 6 stages. So what we're going to do is we will talk about staging an intervention, the merits and demerits of staging an intervention when we're talking about the wheel of change. And I think it's important for us to talk about the wheel of change, because the wheel of change, in the wheel of change, anyone out there who is abusing drugs will be able to see where they are on that wheel of change. They will be able to see it, because there's a stage for everyone who's abusing drugs. Yeah, so there's like the person who does not know they have a problem. So they're like, you guys think I have a problem? Pia nyinyi mmeachana. Mimi niko sawa. What do you mean?
It starts deflecting. Even you.
Wewe kwanza. See, I'm not about you. See about your body last weekend. You kwanza. And you're telling me I have a problem. What are you talking about? Your boss is saying, "Hey, bana, you've been slacking at you." What do you mean? See, me, I met my KPAs, all of them.
We met them. And we go out on Fridays to drink all of them.
With you. With you. So there's that guy. And then there's someone who's like, "Hey, bana, by the way, inaweza kuwa I think wanadanganya. So basically, the wheel of change is something we can talk about. The wheel of change next time, and we can talk about staging and intervention, why you should or should not do it, and what the benefits are, if there are any. We will find out. We will find out if there are benefits. And yeah, I think that's a very important topic to talk about, because we may talk about drug addiction, but people don't know where they are in that wheel of change, because it's a wheel.
Because sometimes others don't even consider them having a wheel.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, you've had it here first. Be prepared and join us on the next session, as we're going to talk more about mental health, addiction, and interventions, apparently.
Yeah.
Why you should do it and why you should not. Stay posted on Boomplay, where we are exclusively at. This has been Conversations with a Therapist. And your host again, Lawi and
Jennifer K.
Keep it Boomplay.